So if you think you're having a bad day, you could be baseball Karen or Phillies Karen, who is now being canceled by the entire planet for stealing a baseball from a child. Now, this is an incident that unfolded over the weekend, and I think it was Saturday the morning that we all woke up to this story of this woman losing her mind at a father and his son as they were both trying to catch a home run ball at a Phillies versus Marlins baseball game. Now, I have a lot of questions about this situation, and I've heard a lot of different takes on it. And ultimately, I'm wondering who you think was in the right here, or if everybody just sucks. And of course, we have to round out this video by looking at some of the memes that have been created because they're awesome. But before we get too much further, I am Outspoken Samantha. I appreciate you being here. I would love it if you would hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much for doing both of those things. So, as I said, there was an incident that kind of took the internet by storm over the weekend. Now, if you were doing the normal human thing and not completely glued to your phone or social media over the last couple of days, perhaps you missed it, and that's okay. I'm here to fill you in. So, what happened was there was a situation at this game where the lady with the blonde hair kind of bending over here and another man dove for a home run ball, and I don't think anybody could have planned for it evolving and turning into what it did. So let's have a look at this video real quick and see what happened. We could see the ball coming in. It landed in a particular area. She was behind it by a row or two, reaching down for it. He came running in from his seats, and he happened to be the one that walked away with it. Thankfully, we have other angles of this interaction where we can get the audio of what this woman was saying as she got uncomfortably close to this man. So the crowd was booing. Everybody was clearly against this woman. She's very unhinged. I don't think that there is any question about that. And she has earned her name as the Phillies Karen. Now, there are a lot of people claiming to have identified this individual, but I'm not going to say the name that they came up with because we really don't know for sure if this is who this person is. And unfortunately, if they have the wrong social media accounts or anything like that, there could be somebody out there getting hate and backlash and targeting for no reason because that's just how the internet works. The first thing that stood out to me is the fact that this woman felt like she had the right to put her hands on this man. He grabbed the ball and immediately she reached out to grab him by the shirt. And then as it proceeded, she ran up to him and grabbed him by the arm, and he puts his fists up because that's not normal. And we think that if someone's going to grab us that way, they mean to do us harm. So, she's lucky that he didn't turn and punch her in the face because clearly he was startled. The other part of her behavior that I was baffled by is when she ran up to him, she got extremely close to his face and she's screaming at him, "You took it from me. You took it from me. That was mine." So far, the behavior from this woman is virtually indistinguishable between something that you would find on a playground between a couple of kids. Like screaming at somebody, "You took it from me," chasing after them, running them down, putting their hands on them. Those are all things that we learn when we're kids that you don't do. You don't have a right to put your hands on other people and screaming at them about taking something away from you generally just does not come across very well. And so we learn self restraint and basically to just not behave like grown toddlers. Thankfully, after all of this happened, since they caught it on the Jumbotron, the higher ups at the stadium saw what happened and they brought the little boy a gift basket with a bunch of merch specifically for him, probably valued at a couple $100 at least.
So we brought you a cool little goodie bag. You okay? All right. Happy birthday. Is now your birthday yet?
Couple days.
Okay.
Couple days.
And then he also got to go and meet the team and get a signed baseball bat afterwards. So it all worked out. Clearly, the kid won out in this situation in the end. The second question I had about this situation, and this has definitely created a bit of an online debate, is should the father have given the ball back? Because I think in that situation, I don't know that I would have. I typically don't tend to cave to bullies and people that are clearly unhinged. But the father seems to be of the mindset that, he didn't want to start something. He is trying to protect his family from, further being exposed to more unhinged behavior. And he just wanted this woman to go away. And he describes it in this interview that the family gave afterwards. It says the young Phillies fan made to give up his home run baseball to a furious female supporter has spoken of his heartbreak, saying he was left to feel like he could never win against the bully. Lincoln Feltwell inadvertently landed in a wildly viral firestorm after the furious fans screamed at his family to hand her the ball they got at Friday's game against the Marlins in Miami just before his 10th birthday. I wasn't very happy that we had to give it to her, but we can't win, Lincoln told NBC 10 Philadelphia of being made to feel defeated and forced to hand over the prized possession. And a lot of people have said that they felt like the dad was being the bigger person, that he was setting a good example for his son to pick and choose your battles, basically. And I completely understand that argument. But in my opinion, too often we let bullies win simply because we don't want to deal with it. And what does that send to people like these Karens or people that feel like they are entitled and they take advantage of the situation, knowing that most people are going to take the higher ground? Therefore, if they are just louder and more aggressive, they're going to get their way. That's the message that we're sending, that being a good person and a nice person doesn't get you what you want, that if you're aggressive and mean, that's how you get things done. Now, thankfully, in this situation, yes, it all worked out. He got, the signed bat, he got the gift basket, he got some other things that came out afterwards. But it's not always going to be that way. And in my opinion, I don't necessarily feel like giving the ball back was the right move, but that's just me. And I know that there are a lot of people who disagree with that. I also wanted to share one more perspective that I heard that I came across on TikTok. And this guy is basically saying that everybody in this situation sucks.
Baseball game, reaming out the dad who went and got the ball for his kid. And obviously I've seen all of the comments where people are like, and you wonder where the term Karen comes from, which I agree with. But I feel like nobody's really talking about how the entire situation is terrible, is screwed up. First off, the dad is not innocent in this circumstance. Now, on balance, is what he did probably less bad than what she did? Yeah, absolutely. This is just my rule of thumb, but I feel like if you go to a game like that, you are allotted a 1-seat radius on any side of you to make an effort to get the ball. But the moment you start diving over people, the moment you start climbing over seats, unless they're empty, but the moment you start doing that type of stuff, you're kind of out of line. Like, you're actually the weirdo in that instance, not the person that gets mad at you for doing that. Now, in this case, the dad just ran over there, grabbed the ball, and then ran back and gave it to the kid. So it wasn't that bad. He didn't dive over anyone. He wasn't hopping over chairs, but the ball was not coming to him. I do think he violated the etiquette there, if there is one. Now, does that excuse the psychopath in the glasses? No, not at all. She's an absolute menace. A menace. I actually saw a separate video of her from another fan heckling someone else, getting up in some other stranger's business, just like she did that guy. This lady is probably a 25-year board member of her HOA, okay? She lives for this stuff. I don't think this was a one-off thing. I think she probably lives her life this way. Now, back to the dad for a second. When she confronts him, he goes, what, me? And he points at his kid. Like, he's scapegoating his kid. He's like, hey, the ball was for my kid. Kid, deal with it. You ran a section over and grabbed the ball, dude. And now crazy aggressive lady is in your face. Deal with it. Finally, back to crazy lady. I did see where someone was like, why are we publicly shaming someone who did something stupid on video one time? And I agree. Like, you don't need to look up where she works. You don't need to tag her company. You don't need to try and get her fired, dox her, whatever it's called. But she is crazy. Like, that was a wild thing to do. And it went on for a long time. So in summation, it was basically a collective cluster of stupid all the way around.
So you guys are going to have to let me know what you think of all of this, because I definitely have my thoughts and opinions as I have just shared with you. I do think that there were a few things that could have been handled better. I don't go to baseball games a lot, so I did think it was weird that the dad thought it was okay to run all the way over into another section and pick up a ball. And I think it would have been different had there been more rows in between where the ball landed and the people that had the opportunity to grab it, but it was pretty much right in front of baseball Karen and her family. So I think that they probably had more right to it, I guess, than the dad and his son did. But at the same time, it landed somewhere where there were no seats. So basically, anybody that grabs it, I don't think I believe her that it was in her hands. I think that that was completely made up. And I definitely think that she was in the wrong for running after him and grabbing him and taking it away from his son. So it just seems like there were just a lot of things going on. What I completely disagree with is trying to hunt this woman down and basically ruin her life. And that is something that has been going on. People think that, like I said, they have identified this person, they're going after her. I have heard that they are making phone calls to her work. She's being harassed. And, as unpleasant as she is, I don't think anybody deserves that. I mean, yeah, was she rude? Yeah, but people don't deserve to have their lives ruined for just being a generally overall miserable person. But as I did say, people have been going to town on the memes because this is prime meme material. So they have now replaced the screaming liberal crazy lady with Phillies Karen. A lot of people think that she acted like Gollum with that baseball. It is now her precious. It looks like Trump signed an executive order saying all Karens with this haircut shall be deported ASAP. It looks like her and Elizabeth Warren are now interchangeable, and she may have followed the kid into the dugout with the team and tried to take the signed bat from him as well. If you're looking for costume ideas, Halloween is around the corner. You can go as Phillies Karen. And if you're looking for her, she might be crying for her photo op at the southern border. Anyway, like I said, if you think that you are having a bad day, you could be this woman who is now the subject of national and probably international global mockery by simply just being a miserable human being. But I would love to hear what you guys think of this. Please let me know what you would have done in this situation. Who do you think was right? Who do you think was wrong? How do you think it could have been handled better? Leave it below. Hit the thumbs up button on this video and subscribe to my channel. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.